Ladies, let's be real. Some truths are better left untold. Not because you're hiding something, but because not every detail of your past deserves a seat at the table of your future. Relationships are a delicate dance of emotions and understanding. And while honesty is crucial, so is discretion. That doesn't mean you should keep secrets, but it does mean you don't have to share every chapter of your past love life. Why? Because men and women are wired differently, and some things, no matter how innocent, can do more harm than good when spoken aloud. Here's the truth. Never, I repeat, never tell a man everything about your past relationships. He doesn't need to know how many guys broke your heart, how they made you feel, or, worst of all, what they did better. Men are naturally territorial. The last thing they want is to feel like they're living in the shadow of someone who's long gone. Picture this. You and your men are having a great evening. You're laughing, connecting. Everything feels right. Then, without thinking, you drop a comment like, "My ex used to plan surprise trips for me." Or, "He always knew the right words when I was down." You may see it as a casual remark, but for him, it's a silent bomb. That thought lingers. Suddenly, he's questioning himself, comparing, wondering if he measures up. Men are competitive by nature. They don't want to win your heart. They want to feel like they're the only one who ever had it. Even if they don't say a word, insecurities start to grow. Doubts settle in. Resentment builds over time, all from one innocent conversation. And here's another reason to be cautious. Not every man is emotionally secure enough to handle your truth. Let's say you tell him you forgave your ex for cheating. A mature man may understand that as growth, but an immature one, he might take it as permission to cross that line himself. He won't say it, but in the back of his mind, he'll believe that forgiveness is on the table. Do you really want to plant that seed? And let's not forget the chaos it can create. One day, you're arguing about laundry. The next, he brings up something you once told him about your ex. Oh, when your ex did it, you didn't complain. But now with me, it's a problem. And just like that, you're in a fight about someone who doesn't even exist in your life anymore. It's exhausting and avoidable. The truth is, every relationship is a fresh start. Who you were then is not who you are now. The way you loved back then is not how you love today. People evolve. Priorities shift. What once mattered may now feel irrelevant. So why carry that old baggage into a brand new journey? Let your present be about building, not comparing. Let your partner know that he matters, not because of what your past lacked, but because of what your future now holds. Don't let him feel like he's trying to fill someone else's shoes. Let him write his own chapter in your story. A man wants to feel like he's building something original with you, not starring in a sequel to a story he wasn't even in. And, perhaps most importantly, some men, if we're being honest, don't really want to know everything. Not because they can't handle it, but because they want to believe that their place in your heart is unique, untouched, and undivided. So, as we've just explored, keeping some parts of your past to yourself isn't about hiding. It's about protecting the future you're trying to build. Now let's go even deeper. Many men think they want to know everything about your past. They'll ask you questions, sometimes out of curiosity, other times out of insecurity, hoping for reassurance. But here's the truth. They're not really prepared for the answers. A man might casually ask, "How many people have you been with?" But do you truly believe he's ready for that answer? Think about it. Say a number that's too high, and suddenly, he's seeing you differently. Say something too low, and he might assume you're hiding the truth. Either way, it becomes a mental minefield, one where there's no winning, only second guessing. Chatham, reality is, men fall in love with who you are now, not who you used to be. He's not building a connection with the girl who cried over someone at 21 or made a few bad choices in the past. He's with the woman standing right in front of him, stronger, wiser, and more grounded. That's the version he wants. That's the version that matters. So, ladies, let your past be exactly that. The past. Don't drag ghosts into your present. Don't allow old wounds to infect something new and beautiful. The fewer shadows you carry into your current relationship, the more light you leave for something fresh, something real, and something untainted. And never, ever reveal all your vulnerabilities at once. Yes, a good man will protect your heart, but even the best men have limits. If you hand over every fear, every insecurity, every scar right away, some men, especially the wrong ones, will see it as a map, not a moment of trust. A map they can use to manipulate, to control, to slowly break you down. For example, if you admit that you struggle with self-worth, an immature man might flip that into making you feel grateful just to be with him. If you confess that you fear being alone, he could use that as leverage, planting seeds of doubt that convince you walking away isn't an option, even when it should be. Strength is magnetic, confidence is powerful, and mystery, that's your superpower. Men are wired to respect strength. From an evolutionary lens, they're attuned to dynamics of power, status, and stability. So when a woman reveals too much too quickly, it shifts that balance. At first, what draws a man in is your independence, your sense of self, your ability to stand tall even in silence. But if you begin laying all your pain at his feet, something in his perception begins to change. You might think you're deepening the bond by being open. You might believe you're inviting connection by showing him every broken piece. But in many cases, it doesn't bring him closer. It overwhelms him. He may start feeling responsible for your healing. And no matter how kind-hearted he is, that weight can become a burden. And here's a hard truth. Not every man deserves to know your softest side. Some men don't see vulnerability as something to protect. They see it as something to exploit. Trust needs to be earned, not offered as a gift on day one. Even with good men, too much emotional dependence too soon can backfire. The moment he senses that your happiness depends entirely on him, he may start to pull away. He may begin to give less, assuming you'll always be there no matter what. Respect begins to erode, and when that happens, effort fades too. But when a man knows that you're strong, that you won't tolerate being disrespected or mistreated, he shows up differently. He brings his best. He knows he has to work to earn your trust, to hold your heart, to keep your attention. That's how you build a lasting relationship, on mutual respect, not emotional dependency. Another point that often goes overlooked: not every man has the emotional depth or maturity to handle your most intimate truths. Some men are still wrestling with their own insecurities, and if you pour all your emotional weight onto them, they simply shut down. The result? More distance, not more intimacy. This doesn't mean you have to be cold or distant. It means you should be strategic. A healthy relationship isn't about revealing everything at once. It's about revealing the right things at the right time, based on earned trust. Let him discover you. Let him peel back the layers gradually. That mystery keeps him intrigued. That strength keeps him invested. A woman who knows how to share selectively keeps a man curious. He wants to know more, to uncover more, to prove he deserves a deeper piece of her world. And let's be clear, there's a big difference between emotional expression and emotional dependency. A woman who can speak her truth, who can share her feelings without losing herself, is incredibly attractive. But a woman who leans too hard, who depends entirely on a man for emotional stability, that quickly becomes draining. Men by nature want to feel like protectors, but they also want a partner who can stand beside them, not just lean on them. They admire women who carry themselves with grace and confidence, who walk through life with dignity and strength, even when they carry unspoken pain. Think about the strongest women you know. Do they wear their pain like a badge? No. They carry it quietly, with resilience. They don't expose every wound. They don't allow every insecurity to define them. They don't hand a man the power to break them, because they never give away all their strength. Some women believe that love means full disclosure, that if a man truly loves them, he should know everything. But love isn't just about openness, it's also about respect. And respect is built by strength, by boundaries, by control, by choosing when and what to reveal. Give him the best of you now. Let him earn the rest over time. Because a woman who values herself, who holds something back, who lets a man work for her trust, she will never be taken for granted. As we've discussed, strength isn't about hiding who you are. It's about protecting the parts of you that haven't been earned yet. And that same principle applies not only to your emotions, but also to your finances. When a man respects you for your resilience, he sees you as a true partner, not someone he needs to rescue. He admires your ability to navigate life's storms without falling apart. That kind of admiration, that deep respect, creates a bond that's even stronger than vulnerability ever could. Women should never be ashamed of their emotions, but they should also understand the strength in self-control. Not every fear needs to be voiced. Not every insecurity needs to be exposed. Some things are worth keeping private, not because you're hiding anything, but because you're preserving your inner power. You're setting boundaries that protect your peace. A man who truly loves you doesn't need a full inventory of your weaknesses. He will come to understand you over time, not through your confessions, but through your character. He'll see your quiet confidence, your strength under pressure, and your emotional maturity. That's what makes a man stay. And now, let's talk about something that's often overlooked but incredibly important. Money. Your financial details are not for full disclosure, especially not early on in a relationship. That's not to say you should be secretive or dishonest, but there's a significant difference between healthy transparency and reckless oversharing. Money, as we all know, can be one of the biggest sources of tension in any relationship. If you're doing well financially, revealing that too soon can cause imbalance. Some men, even good ones, may feel threatened if they believe they're not contributing as much. Insecurity creeps in. They may begin to question their role, and if they let pride get in the way, they might start to distance themselves, withdraw, or even act out, not because of anything you've done, but because they feel diminished by comparison. On the other hand, if you are currently struggling financially and you share every detail too early, that too can backfire. Some men might rush in with a savior complex. It may seem noble at first, but that dynamic can quickly turn toxic. You don't want to be viewed as a burden or someone who constantly needs fixing. You want to be valued for your spirit, not your spending power. For your heart, not your bank account. Oversharing financial details too early can shift the entire tone of a relationship. It can create tension where there was none, expectations where there should be patience, and dependency where there should be balance. Let's break it down. If you earn more than your partner, and he finds that out too early, his ego may take a hit, especially if he equates masculinity with financial dominance. Some men will admire you for your independence, but others may feel emasculated. And instead of growing together, resentment begins to fester in silence. If you earn less and you openly discuss your struggles, you risk being seen not as a teammate, but as someone who needs to be fixed. In either case, money becomes the lens through which your relationship is viewed. That's a dangerous place to start. A healthy relationship shouldn't be built on salary comparisons or credit reports. It should be rooted in mutual respect, shared values, and emotional connection. You don't want to feel like your partner is evaluating your worth based on your net worth. And let's not forget about competition. Sometimes, when one person is thriving financially, the other starts to feel like they have something to prove. It becomes a race. He tries to outdo you. Or worse, he starts making impulsive decisions, not out of love, but out of pride. That's how unnecessary arguments start. That's how relationships strain. By keeping financial matters private in the early stages, you remove this competitive edge. You allow the relationship to blossom based on who you are, not what you have. You create a space where both people can contribute without feeling measured, judged, or pressured. Of course, as the relationship matures, transparency becomes essential, but it should evolve naturally, not be dumped on the table on the third date. Trust takes time. So does comfort. As you build both, conversations about money will feel easier, more organic, and less threatening. And here's the truth. Financial independence is incredibly attractive. A woman who manages her own money, pays her own bills, and makes her own decisions isn't a liability. She's a partner. A woman like that doesn't need someone to save her. She chooses a partner not out of necessity, but out of alignment in goals and values. Financial independence gives you power. It allows you to stand on your own and choose someone to walk beside you, not carry you. It also ensures that your relationship is about love, not survival, about companionship, not dependency. That said, there are certain financial topics that simply don't need to be shared early on. You don't need to reveal how much debt you carry, how much is in your savings, or whether you're struggling to pay rent. Those things may be real, but they don't define your worth. They're personal, and until there's mutual trust and emotional depth, they're best kept between you and your bank account. Why? Because money changes things. Once your financial status is known, expectations start forming. If you're well off, your partner might expect luxury, dinners, trips, gifts. If you're struggling, they may start treating you like a charity case, even unintentionally. Either way, it skews the relationship dynamic. Relationships thrive in simplicity. And money, for all its importance, complicates things. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing money equals value, but it doesn't. Your value lies in your character, your kindness, your commitment, and the energy you bring into the relationship. And finally, let's address the risk of manipulation. Sadly, not everyone has good intentions. Some people see financial details as leverage. If they know too much, they may start pressuring you to make choices that benefit them, not you. Whether it's guilt-tripping you, exploiting your success, or using your financial vulnerability against you. It's all dangerous territory. That's why you must guard your financial truth just as you would your emotional truth. A healthy relationship is built on emotional richness, not material wealth. It's about shared dreams, not shared bank accounts, at least not at the start. Let the relationship grow on authenticity, on love, on shared purpose. The money talks can come later, when the foundation is strong enough to hold them.